Hey, Bill Seith here with businessideas.academy. This is Pressure Washing Business Part 3. This post is a continuation from starting a pressure washing business Part 2. And of course, you can check out the other two posts in the description below. There's a link. So in this post, I'm going to give you a more detailed explanation of what each block of the business model canvas is. So remember, there are 9 blocks that make up the business model canvas, and the decisions you need to make in each block affect what type of business model you're going to end up with. You know, the sum of all blocks is what makes up your business model. So let's go ahead and get started with the very first one. Okay, now it's time to take a deep dive into each of the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas. The first building block we're going to cover is customer segments. Your target market may have several different customer segments, so let's identify who these folks could be. A pressure washing business would include residential and commercial customers, each making up their own customer segment. You could also categorize this as business to consumer and business to business. So choosing which market to serve will be the first decision you make in developing your business model. All right, basically, residential customers need different jobs done than commercial customers do. There could be different equipment necessary to focus on a residential customer versus a commercial customer. A homeowner may need their driveway and or siding on their house or paver patio cleaned, where a business owner may need his entire building or parking lot or, say, a dumpster pad cleaned on a regular basis. You may even be asked to clean large interior places requiring different types of equipment. A B2B, right, business to business customer might be a trucking company with a fleet of vehicles that need to be cleaned on a regular basis. So these different jobs will determine the type of equipment you might need. And of course, the equipment will affect your startup costs. So if you plan to start on a shoestring, you will probably want to focus on the residential customer segment for now. You know, you can have a strategy for expansion after you hit certain milestones and make the investment in more expensive gear down the road. So you can tackle the commercial market at a later date. All right, now it's time to move on to the second block of the business model canvas, value propositions. Now that you've decided upon which customer segment to go after, you can begin to think about what value propositions you plan to deliver to your customer. You know, what is a value proposition, you may be asking? Well, the right value proposition is where you begin innovating, all right? Value propositions are what you deliver to your specific customer segment that creates value. You know, your value proposition is the reason why customers will call you over another company. You know, not only are you solving their problem, but you're doing it with a quicker response time, finishing faster, and delivering more quality, okay? So value propositions are more than just cleaning a driveway. As you can see, they include intangible value as well. So you can accomplish this by creating an innovative new process, okay? Maybe this process allows you to not only deliver what you promised, i.e. a clean driveway, and you've done it quicker with more quality, but to do it at a savings to the customer and at a significant profit to you as well. So your customer perceives the transaction as a great value for the money spent, and your innovative process allows you to continuously deliver high value at a high profit, okay? Win-win. So how do you create a process? Well, it's a solution. It could be solution design thinking now. So begin to think creatively about how you might do this. Put yourself in the customer's shoes, right? Empathy is the word I like to use here. And ask, what are their hopes, fears, and biases? What are their pains and desired gains? And ultimately, how can you deliver a solution that gives them exactly what they need? The third block I'm going to talk about are channels. Channels describe how you communicate with customers and how you actually deliver your value proposition. How will you interface with your customer segment? Each time you interact with your customer, whether in person or through a website even, that's called a touch point, right? Your channels help you raise awareness about your services, helps customers evaluate your value proposition, and helps you to get them to purchase your services, okay? So another consideration is, how will you provide customer support? All right, will you hire an answering service or let your phone ring to voicemail when someone tries to call you? All of these decisions will have an impact on your tangible value proposition, all right? Put yourself, again, empathy, in your customer's shoes. Would you want to get a voicemail when you called to schedule some work, or would you rather reach a live person every time you call? Moving on to block number 4, customer relationships. We're going to begin to see how these building blocks begin to tie into one another. In the last section, channels, this ties into customer relationships big time. You will need to clarify what type of relationships you intend to have with your customer segments here. So, will you have a policy of personal interaction with a live person, or an automated answering service that routes a customer call based on choices you give them in a call group? Okay, will you allow them to book your services online, or will they have to speak directly with you to schedule services? So far, I've described just 2 types of customer relationships. One is personal assistance, and the other is self-service. In a service business, I think it's best to establish right away a policy of personal assistance. You could include self-service scheduling as an option, maybe on your website, especially for existing customers who you've already established a relationship with. Other than that, especially for new establishing, that relationship with new customers, I just don't think that you can do anything other than personal assistance. One of my personal favorites, number 5, revenue streams, the 5th building block of the business model canvas. Revenue streams generate cash from each of your customer segments. Revenue streams come from the different services you offer based on your chosen customer segment and your value proposition. So look at it like this. Maybe you offer, RV cleaning as well as traditional residential services. You might have transaction revenue from one-time payments such as cleaning a residential home, siding, or reoccurring revenues from a commercial client who needs their dumpster pad cleaned on a monthly basis. So this is where you have to consider, for what value are your customers really willing to pay? What are they currently paying? How do they pay? How would you, how would they prefer to pay? Do they want to pay cash versus a credit card? So how much does each revenue stream contribute to your gross revenues? These are questions that you have to begin to ask yourself in developing the revenue streams building block of your business model canvas. All right, now we're going to talk about the 6th building block of the business model canvas, key resources. Starting a pressure washing business is going to be heavy in physical resources, which include your vehicle and equipment, not to mention the supplies you will need to complete the jobs that your customer segments need you to do. Another consideration are humans. Humans are a resource. I'm sure you've heard the term human resources before. How many humans will it take to run your business? All right. In the beginning, this is probably pretty easy. It's just going to be you. But once your business starts to grow, you will need some help to capitalize on those new opportunities. What about financial resources? What will it take to start up and run your company? All right. If you negotiate 30-day payment terms with a supplier of, let's say, power washing supplies like degreasers and biodegradable house cleaners, this is considered a key financial resource. I can't stress how important this is to the cash flow of a new business. It gives you the time to complete a month's worth of work before you have to pay for your supplies. It's really key for cash reflow. So look to negotiate those 30-day payment terms with suppliers of, fuel or the cleaning products that you need, anything like that. So, you get to use the supplies and collect the money before the bill is due, putting less stress on your cash flow. Block number 7, key activities. Key activities is the 7th block of the business model canvas and describes the operations of your business model. All right, every business model will have key activities. These key activities are the most important things your pressure washing company does to make its business model work. Key activities has the same characteristics as key resources in that they are required to create and offer your value proposition, required to reach your market, they're required to maintain customer relationships, and of course, earn revenues. Depending upon what decisions you have made in the previous building blocks, key activities will differ depending upon your business model type. For instance, the key activities of a residentially focused power washing company will include, cleaning driveways, paver patios, and vinyl siding. But if you're more commercially focused, your key activities might be cleaning a fleet of buses or an entire building, or cleaning the interior of a building where you have to actually collect the wastewater as soon as it's put onto the floor. Building block number 8 is a really important one, and it's called key partnerships. And you could spend a lot of time on this, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what you've got to consider. So the key partnerships building block helps us determine who we need to partner with to make our business model work. We need to form key partnerships to optimize our business models, reduce risk, or acquire resources. In general, key partnerships can be divided into 4 different types: strategic alliances between non-competitors, strategic partnerships between competitors, joint ventures to develop new businesses. Joint ventures are usually temporary in nature. Maybe you team up with another company to tackle a really big job, and it only happens once or maybe twice a year, something like that. And then you have buyer-supplier relationships to assure reliable supplies. We finally arrived at the last building block of the business model canvas, cost structures. So lastly, we're going to close out the business model canvas by identifying our cost structure. What is it going to cost you to run your business? The cost structure building block describes all the cost incurred to operate your business model and can be divided into 2 broad classes of cost structures. These are cost-driven and value-driven. Have you ever heard of the old saying that it takes money to make money? Well, it's true, but I feel the business model you should build is one where you minimize your costs as much as possible while still over-delivering value to your customers. This would fall into the cost-driven cost structure. We want to create and maintain the leanest approach possible in order to deliver our value proposition at a price that is affordable and acceptable to our customers and also profitable to us, of course. So don't forget, we're not starting a nonprofit business here. You're starting a for-profit company. All right. You're building a sustainable, profitable business that not only provides you and your family, provides for you and your family, but also delivers maximum value to your customers. All right. So that concludes the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas, for starting your pressure washing business. Please leave me some comments below and let me know if you like this segment and what else you might want me to research. Good luck on launching your pressure washing company. All right, that concludes the 9 building blocks of the business model canvas for starting a pressure washing business. Please leave me some comments below to let me know, what else you might want me to research. I want you to get as much information as possible, so give me an idea of the things you might care to learn about. On that note, good luck on launching your new business idea.